Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Hello and welcome to WrestleRamble. This is Luke Owen. I'm Oli Davis, and today we're talking our favourite ever WWE pay-per-views, who could switch gimmicks, the problem with NXT, and more in this mailbag special. That's right, you people have asked us stuff, and we're going to answer it. That's the way these mailbag things work. If you want to go straight to any of those topics of conversation, click the timestamps in the video description below, and you'll be taken right there, or stay here, where we're going to tell you to subscribe on iTunes, subscribe on
Stitcher,
subscribe on Audio Lounge, Acast, subscribe. But should we come up with some new podcast apps?
Yeah, let's do that.
Podfun, Supercast.
I like Podfun.
Yeah,
Podfun. I'm going to start a podcast festival and I'm going to call it Podfun. Podfun Festival.
Podfun 2018.
Yeah, Podfun 20. Yes.
Yeah, and someone's walking around in a Podfun 2018 t-shirt. Man, were you at Podfun 2018?
Oh, mate, what a great year that was.
Look at the lineup of all these obscure wrestling podcasts.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were not invited to the London Podcast Festival, which has got some great... Like, if you are in London, if you are one of our UK viewers and in London, I'm going to be going to the London Podcast Festival, to the wrestling shows they're doing, because Gorilla Position are doing a live show. They're headlining the day, but the Attitude Era podcast are doing a show, and How to Wrestling are doing a show as well. So I'm going to be going to all three of those.
The same person.
Yeah, Kevin does both shows. Yeah, he's pulling double duty on the card.
Yeah, we haven't been invited. To be honest, I doubt we would get invited to Podfun 2018 either.
And we created
the fictional podcast festival that we just created.
Yeah.
But you've brought this up quite a few times in the past. You would want to do a live
I'd love to do a live version of this. Do you not want to do a live version of this? I mean, I'd rather... I think the idea is great until I realise that all of our viewers and listeners are American and they can't come to any of the shows, and then we don't sell out the hall at all. Yeah, and then the hall is actually really empty because we don't have that many viewers or listeners based in London.
And the people there live.
Oh, that's the exciting bit, though. Oh, but yeah, I mean, I'm a former actor. I'm a former stage actor, so I love. And I used to play in bands, so I thrive on performing live.
And you like people to watch.
Yes, I'm very much. I'm not really a voyeur. I like people being voyeurs to me.
A showman.
Yes,
I used to.
I'm the Brad Maddox of this group.
I used to tread the boards.
Oh, yeah?
I did GCSE and A-level drama.
I did the same.
But I wanted to vomit every time we did an actual production.
The
hours before, I would just physically sick and It's fine, I know you, and there's no one else in this room. It's just the camera, we hit record. That's a lie, there's loads of people. We've got a sound engineer and a runner. Hi, Greg. How's the wife?
It makes you didn't actually name someone who actually does work within this studio.
Yeah, Mark. Hi, Mark. And the green screen thing, I just do myself.
Yeah.
Press record, and same with you. Just an actual.
We just produce ourselves.
Yeah, an actual whole room.
I think it'd be exciting. It would just be this, more or less. It would just be us chatting the breeze.
It's different when it's in front of people.
No, it's not. No.
It's like I've seen people, some of the funniest people I know. If you put a camera in front of them, they change completely. It's the same thing as being up on stage. You have to have an appetite for it.
Is this what happened when we did the live Flickering Myth movie show?
No, because I aced that. I was petrified. And there was hardly anyone there.
No, there was a very small crowd there. You were desperate for some reaction.
Yeah, people... Oh, there's a shirt about to fall down. People... Luckily, people were tired around the time that we were on in this convention doing an old show that we used to do based on movies. So all the people there just pretty much came to sit down.
They were looking for chairs to sit in. Yeah,
it was the only place really you could sit down in a chair.
Yeah.
We
couldn't even sit down in chairs at our booth.
Long way round of saying subscribe to the podcast. Shall we get into the mailbag loop?
Let's do it.
If you can't see this on the podcast, we are slapping our legs.
I'm waiting for this to be gift.
And oh yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
We're at least popular enough where people will Photoshop bits because we did the Triple H pose.
God,
to each
that
other.
made me laugh so much.
Really happy.
Really made me chuckle.
Should we do a pose and just give it out to
Maybe we should do our own 5-second pose, and then someone can superimpose Edge and Christian
on the fly gimmick. What's the pose going to be? Oh, you mean like
the 5-second pose? So
Okay.
we need to like sort of turn away, and
come back,
and then come back.
Again, great for the audio.
Yep.
Because they can't see this, but we are describing it.
But let's so before we do that. So for the benefit of those with flash photography, 3, 2, 1. See, and then someone. Oh yeah. So, lovely stuff.
You know what works really
we
well?
could probably cut that bit out the podcast.
Yeah. What really? No, because I think stuff like that, dead air, works really well in audio formats.
That is what's going to get us onto podcast festival next year.
Now we're coming for you, Pritchard. Something to wrestle. There are only 3 podcasts bigger than this in the algorithm on Thursday morning yet last week.
I'll give you something to wrestle with. It's us doing the 5-second pose on an audio medium.
Ooh, edgy. It's art. It's performance.
That's actually us calling out Edge and Christian, who are Eggs and Crispin, who are currently top. They're number 1.
Top. So I did just say last week on Thursday morning. That was actually today. We're recording this in advance.
Yeah.
We haven't stayed in the same t-shirt since the last time, the Saturday's show.
Yeah.
Because where are you right now? In real time.
In real time, I am at the venue where I am getting married this coming October.
We've such a homosexual thing. Getting married to a lady.
I know, yeah. How lame. We've got to go and have a chat with them about like guest numbers and seating plans and food and like how the day's actually going to be structured. It's one of many meetings. I'm also going to go meet my florist and talk about buttonholes and flowers and that sort of thing. So I'm doing nothing but super awesome stuff all day.
Buttonholes?
Yeah. For you, like we've got to have buttonholes.
What do you mean, buttonholes?
Well, okay, so
you're just saying the same thing that I asked. What do you mean buttonholes?
So a buttonhole.
And you just said buttonholes back to me.
So the groomsmen,
right,
all have like a little flowery thing
that
goes onto our suits. That's called a buttonhole.
In the lapel.
In the lapel, yeah.
I see.
And because you are part of the groom's party, along with me as the groom,
can you start calling us faction? The groom's faction, please.
The new groom order.
Yes. I like that very much.
So as the new groom order, we have to wear...
It's better the second time.
We have to wear these buttonhole things. So I've got to go and talk about those. We've already got them designed,
right?
But I need to go and like confirm numbers and things like that.
So it's not the actual buttonhole; it's what's going to go in the.
But
buttonhole.
But it's in the buttonhole of the lapel.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Fun. So that's a bit behind the scenes of my upcoming wedding.
We won't go into this now.
Yeah.
But just so everyone's aware, I think the wedding business is a bloated mess, trying to steal everyone's money.
Yeah,
I'm strongly against it.
Well, that's exactly that's why I did an engagement shoot. I paid extra money for an engagement shoot. I'm not entirely sure it was. Although you got the email today about my stag do.
I'm not allowed to go into that.
No,
it's a surprise.
Well, I wasn't asking you for details. My best man watches the show. I'm not going to ask you for details.
All I'm saying is, maybe you might want to. I can't think of anything.
You can't think of anything that's PG, really, can you? That's the problem. Because the stuff you were telling me out there was very non-PG.
You might want to wax all your body hair because we're gonna wax it as punishment.
Because the new groom order are taking over.
Lads, wax. Lads. Okay, on to that's enough rambling.
That's enough rambling. Let's do the mailbag.
Because we didn't ramble at all in that hour 20 podcast we did on Wednesday. We have rambled a considerable amount.
Can I also just go back to just before we pressed record on this, and we were like, we'll go half an hour on this episode.
Yeah,
we're 10 minutes in. The first ad break's coming up in a minute.
Well, maybe we should time it for that. Maybe we should actually think about where the ads are going rather than just typing 10, 20, 30. Or maybe 10, 18, 26. It changes, depending on how greedy I'm feeling. Okay, so
Yeah,
the
let's-
first message, email comes from Rollerball Rocco Beverlock.
Now, you said that he sent an email that confirmed how it's said.
No, I didn't look at that. I forgot to find that. However, he has a very, very good question. So good, I don't think we're going to be able to answer it to anyone's satisfaction.
We nearly did this question on
Wednesdays, last Wednesdays.
Yeah, last Wednesday. Sure it was Wednesday? Might have been Monday.
Oh, you're right. It was
Monday.
a week ago. Sorry,
Yeah, a
my
week
apologies.
ago. And I genuinely couldn't think of anyone to like for this. And then we decided to do it on today's video. And I was literally looking at the roster and I'm like, I still can't do it.
Wikipedia,
Yeah.
WWE roster.
Couldn't do it.
So if you come up with any, I mean, there's probably an obvious one, right? If you come up with any ideas for Rocco's question, comment below. 'Cause genuinely want to know what a good version of this is. Here we go. Hey, Oli and Luke, I have 2 questions if you'd like to indulge. First, since you two put the talk in WrestleTalk, does that make you WrestleTalkers too? That's not the first. We don't want your answers to that.
No.
If so, what are your ring monikers?
Could do with some answers for that though.
Yeah.
Some suggestions below.
That isn't the stumping question?
No,
though.
it's not. No.
What would your ring name be?
Knobbeard.
Knobbeard's good.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, I don't think you're going to get on WWE with that name.
Well, no, but we are as our new faction.
New Groom
Groom
Order.
Order, yeah.
We come out in. We could be part of Mike and Maria Kanellis.
Yeah. When we arrive at the venue, I'm so playing WO theme.
I have had my dream wrestling persona for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tease that. I'm just going to tell you the name.
Mm-hmm.
And it is Mark Smart.
Very good.
I've also got another. Oh yeah, that's
When I
too,
was
too long to explain.
I'm back in the No Mercy days and WWF SmackDown games, we used to create your wrestler.
Yeah.
My wrestling name on there was Fox Rider.
Fox Rider.
Yeah, not like Fox Rider, but like FOXXRYDER.
Right. So like Zack Ryder's last name.
Yeah.
And I imagine you started off in ECW, and then you moved to as Fox, but with one X.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was after Fox Mulder.
Right.
From on the X-Files, because I just thought it was the coolest name ever, and then Ryder because I just thought it sounded awesome. Clearly, me and Zack Ryder have very similar opinions, as we do because he also thinks that Ghostbusters is the best film ever made.
Just one more thing on that bit. My No Mercy name was bollocks, and the gimmick was.
Why was it bollocks? Why did you call yourself bollocks?
I don't know. Very low self-esteem as a teenager.
Yo.
So I was my middle name is James, and I always wanted to be called OJ. I didn't know anything about OJ Simpson at that age. Didn't know who that was. We're based in the UK. That stuff didn't travel to me as a kid. But I really wanted to be called OJ because that sounded like a cool name. Mm-hmm. But no one ever called me OJ. So my wrestling video game character was the OJ Master.
The OJ Master. Back once again with the OJ Master.
Which just kind of just kind of sounds like a guy who drinks a lot of orange juice.
That's what I imagine. So you had Austin with like the beer cans. You had Kurt Angle with the milk. You got you just getting that that vitamin C.
It stings. It's citrusy in my
And
eyes.
it's just stuck to my. It's made my skin sticky.
I'm gonna have to throw this T-shirt away. Well, I was
so
in.
sweet.
I was obsessed with the color scheme, orange and green as well.
Oh, that's vibrant.
Yes,
That is Brutus the Barber Beefcake levels of vibrance.
Bright orange T-shirt, green tracksuit bottoms with orange sort of stripes, Adidas style down the side, and orange trainers. Jesus.
My guy had a bandana because that was when I thought bandanas were cool.
Yeah,
they're not. And he also had the Hardy Boys vest top things. These were like the like knit hole ones, the crisscross ones. Had like one of those, and then like denim pants, obviously, and boots. And he stood like a badass because I thought the American Badass was the coolest thing in the world. I thought we could be a tag team because we both like bikes, and I don't really like bikes at all. But I was like,
but your character did.
But my character did, absolutely, yeah. And that's what a gimmick is. You got, sometimes you just got to get on with things that you don't like in real life.
Did you think as a kid in your bedroom, if me and Undertaker did meet, I think he probably would ask me to be a tag team.
Yeah, absolutely.
He seems like a nice guy. I'm a nice guy.
In my dream realities, I would be introduced as the third brother of destruction.
Ooh.
So, and then we would, and actually,
wearing a bandana and a netted vest,
yeah,
and jeans,
yeah. And funny enough, your fantasy booking warfare of the trios title in my fantasy, we did win like the 6-man tag team championships.
Well, it's an excellent piece of fantasy booking.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's not a winning one, but it's still good nonetheless. And my finisher on No Mercy, because obviously I'm Bezzy mates with the Undertaker. It was like you get them in a powerbomb position, and then you lift them up for the powerbomb, but then you let them fall forwards, and it's a reverse tombstone.
Oh, right, I see.
Yeah.
Kind of like a. Oh no, that's not how AJ does the Styles Clash. But you just drop them on their head.
You just get down to your knees.
Oh, that sounds horrible to take.
It wasn't on any of the WWF games. It was only on No Mercy. I mean, SmackDown games.
We actually do have an N64 in the studio and a copy of
No Mercy.
No Mercy. I'm going to get it.
We could recreate our No Mercy characters from our childhood, from the 2000s.
People do that, don't they? They create an E-Fed. We could. Gee, look at that. That is a thing of beauty. You probably can't see because of light reflections.
Yeah, we have very little time in the studio because we're so busy creating amazing content for all of you lovely people. But I do dream of being able to just record us playing games and just playing like No Mercy tournaments.
A lot of people like that sort of thing.
That's what I thought.
Maybe we'd do it eventually.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe we do it as a Patreon thing.
Yeah. Well, we're not even on the big part of the question.
But so this half-an-hour video is going well.
So tell us about the things.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the question while Ollie's fanning around. Here's back to Rollerball Rocco. The actual question is, are there any current superstars in the business that you think could benefit from swapping their gimmick with another current superstars? So this is where the trickiness comes in. So this isn't giving someone else's gimmick. So you couldn't be like, oh, okay, do you know what? I think it would be awesome if you gave Enzo Amore Brock Lesnar's gimmick, because then he could be like this badass, this UFC badass. Because you then have to give Brock Lesnar Enzo Amore's gimmick, which would be hilarious.
It would be quite something, wouldn't it?
But both don't benefit. And what you've got to do is you've got to try and find a balance where they both actually, by swapping gimmicks, they both elevate themselves up and become better. So I genuinely, because every time I thought of one, I was like, I'd swap these two. Oh yeah, but they don't need that gimmick. That would hamper them.
What were they? Did you have any examples?
Well, I was looking at Rusev. I wanted to give Rusev a better gimmick than his foreign heel one, but then I suddenly remembered that then I've got to give someone else the foreign heel gimmick.
That's the problem. Looking at, because we just went through the rosters, didn't we? Like, who could we do this with? And it dawned on me, there's no one's gimmick on WWE that I'm fully 100% on.
Well, Samoa Joe's gimmick.
To an extent.
But I don't want to take that off of him.
Yeah, but I love Samoa Joe, but I wouldn't say his gimmick has been presented in the best way possible. You know, I've definitely seen better versions of Samoa Joe's gimmick done by Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Who is WWE doing to its best of ability? Actually, Braun Strowman.
Yeah, Braun
Strowman is a flawless character and consistent in what they've done with him over the last 6 months. Brock Lesnar as well, actually.
Yeah.
But beyond that,
there's
no one I can. I could say John Cena, but I don't love John Cena. I'm just thinking of people I really like.
I think John Cena is awesome, but I don't like his character.
Yeah.
So anyway, you've actually managed to find 3 examples.
Okay, the first 2 are cop-outs, because it's an example of giving a gimmick to someone else and then being like, what about the other guy? So I thought Samoa Joe's gimmick to Kevin Owens.
So making Kevin Owens a badass Samoan.
But just a badass.
Okay.
A badass who really hurts people. Back to the prize fighter days, because I don't like what he's doing at the moment. He's much, much better than that. But Samoa Joe's then left as the face of America.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work.
That's so funny as well. King Ross pointed this out on his WTF moments. Booker T called Samoa Joe like he's the personification of a prize fighter when he was coming out. He was like, well, clearly not, because he's going out to a match where nothing's on the line.
Yeah.
He's not fighting for any prize, is he?
Whoa. There's the John O'Clock bell. And Jason Jordan to Chad Gable, I've written down.
Yeah, I mean that one makes
because that one actually works.
Because Chad Gable is he's doing the moonsault. He's doing the ankle lock. They were even there's quite a few people that are theorizing that it is going to be revealed that Chad Gable is actually Jason Jordan's son, and that Jason Jordan is Kurt Angle's son. It's a big family lineage. That's what they're working on.
Yeah.
So Chad Gable's actually going to be revealed as the son.
Those Angles just can't keep it in their pants, can they?
Or they're buying rubbish condoms.
Yeah.
And Jason Jordan will go back to being a single star, not affiliated with the Angle name.
So I think if Jason Jordan and actually this is quite a good one, because Jordan could just do what Gable is doing on the main roster on SmackDown right now, and that is slowly proven himself. I think he could get over. He's a good, very good wrestler in the ring. Put him against AJ and that steady losing streak. Good way to build him up. Chad Gable, meanwhile, I think if you put him in the illegitimate son storyline, he's got such a natural charisma to him that people would almost accept the stupidity of the illegitimate storyline and buy into him at the same time. Plus, in that Miz TV segment, he could actually give a little bit back to the
banter back and forth. Yeah. I mean, when Chad Gable first debuted in NXT, everyone did say he's a young Kurt Angle. Yeah. Because he can do the serious, but he also does comedy very well, and he's awesome in the ring. He's a complete badass in the ring.
He can beat you up, and he can make you laugh.
Yeah.
Funny don't make money.
Funny don't make money.
But they can if they convincingly.
Exactly. The Rock is a great example of that. Yeah. The Rock, hilarious in his promos, but also kicked ass in the ring.
Sure. But the best one I've managed to find, I'm sure.
I'm interested to hear this.
People can find it better. Well, Roman Reigns is a babyface right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not, he's Roman Reigns. I'm not going to go into that whole fiasco. So I'm thinking, how could we turn him heel? Excuse me, a weird cough there. So I want to turn Roman Reigns heel. Who's a heel on the roster that shouldn't really have gone heel this soon? And I thought, Big Cass. He's getting a bit of a push. If he goes face and you bring Enzo back to him, just imagine they never broke up. Enzo just becomes a manager, so he becomes the mouthpiece. And I guess Big Cass isn't that good a wrestler, though. But if he was not at the top of the company, but in more of that kick-ass babyface mode that Reigns is in.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns' gimmick is he's the top guy.
Yeah.
It's his yard.
Yeah, God, Big Cass would have retired
The Undertaker at WrestleMania, yeah.
Well, we're not saying spots on the card, we're just saying gimmicks, right? Mm-hmm. And if Roman Reigns becomes a Big Cass bully-style heel, that would be a lot nicer. I don't know. That's the best they could come up with.
It's a tough question, Rollerball. Fun fact for you: I was listening to some old Undertaker promos, and it was really funny. It was a promo that he did at Unforgiven 2000. It's like a 2000 show. It was the one after SummerSlam, and it struck me because the end of it is just like he goes. There is when he's doing badass Undertaker's like, "That ring out there. That's my yard, and I'm the big dog at that yard." And I thought, geez, that was 2017 years ago, and now you got Roman Reigns doing the exact same dialogue, only it somehow sounds worse.
Well, you could say there's a poetic symmetry there in script writing. That's good script writing. You've passed the torch. But no, not with Reigns. It's somehow very annoying. Next up, we have Paul E. Dangerously Jarman, who you can follow on Twitter at Paul_Diablo, and this is his question. Just stick with it.
Okay.
So picture the scene. I have been condemned to death for some heinous crime I've committed. Not sure what. I'll let you make that bit up. Along with my final meal, for info, that will be shepherd's pie, mushy peas, and a round of bread and butter. I am granted a final wrestling wish. I can choose any pay-per-view from any of the main brands from all of time to watch whilst eating said meal. Which do I choose to ensure maximum entertainment and distraction from my fate? Clearly, that is a convoluted way of asking what's the best pay-per-view ever, but I was trying to ham it up a bit.
That's a brilliant way to ham up a question.
Know, right?
That's well done, Paulie Dangerously Jarman. That is top work, sir.
So, do you want to kick this off? What's the best pay-per-view ever?
I thought you were going to ask me what my final meal was going to be.
Well, that as well. Pizza, stuffed crust, Asda, margarita, side of mayo.
Large Big Mac meal with an extra double cheeseburger and whatever special they've got on.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I think that's, because you don't really care about healthy calorie counting when you're on your last meal.
Although I've given it up for a year, I love a Big Mac.
Yeah,
I just think Big Macs are delicious.
They're very tasty.
Very tasty.
Until the shame sets in. I like the first 3 bites, but I'm like, oh no, shame.
Yeah, well, that's why I have the double cheeseburger first, because then I can build up. I can build up the shame. Yeah. But
I interpreted this as favourite pay-per-view. So you could go for favourite rather than best.
I was going to say, because I'm trying to think about like a pay-per-view that I would watch, and I've watched multiple times, and that's. I mean, it would probably be. Do you know what it'd be? It would probably be Backlash 2000.
Is it really?
I think I would go Backlash 2000. I've got such fond memories of staying up to, because it was free on Channel 4.
Really?
So staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch it. It was the first time I'd ever really stayed up to watch a pay-per-view live. I wasn't meant to, because my parents didn't really like me watching wrestling. And it was Rock and Triple H in the main event, with Vince and Steph in Triple H's corner and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the Rock's corner, but Stone Cold wasn't there. So at the entire show they were like, Austin's not here yet, Austin's not here yet. You had Big Show coming out doing Hulk Hogan. He was the showster. Had a bit of a match with Kurt Angle. You had S.A. Rios have a fun little match on there. You had Eddie Guerrero having a good match. I think Eddie Guerrero had a match on that show anyway. I just have really fond memories of that show. But, do you know what? Actually, no, I've changed my mind already. Because it's either that, or it's going to be WrestleMania X7. Because that show, top to bottom, with the exception of one match, which was the APA and Taz versus the Right to Censor, a random match that was to have on WrestleMania. It's a great show. That's got Rock Austin in the main event. You've got TLC, TLC 2. You've got Undertaker Triple H, their first encounter, which was really, really good. You had Kurt Angle Benoit. You had Regal in the opener with Jericho, I think. You had the triple threats with Raven, Big Show, and Kane, which was great because my boy Raven was in there, although he didn't win. And you've got the Gimmick Battle Royal, which brings me so much joy. I've seen that match so many times, but it brings me joy every single time I see it. Even if it's just for Mean Gene and Bobby the Brain Heenan doing commentary and taking the mick out of everyone that's coming down to the ring.
So WrestleMania X7 was
2001. Some say it was the end of the Attitude Era.
So Backlash was 2000.
Yep.
So around that era for you betrays when you grew up watching wrestling, I think.
Yeah, portrays. I think you said betrays.
Betrays. Like it reveals.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Because the other alternative would be Starrcade '97, which was the infamous Sting Hogan match. Only because there's quite a lot to discuss. No one would be with me, but if like the guard was there, I could tell them factoids about the show, the reason why Kevin Nash wasn't at the show, why
we're
he
gonna have to move up the execution.
He's talking about Kevin Nash again.
So I'm also going to go for a 2000 pay-per-view.
There's a reason why. It's because that was a great year of wrestling. That was when WWF was at its hottest. It was like WCW was down in the toilet, but WWF was riding a big high, big wave of success.
And it was so much fun.
So much fun.
It was so great. Brian Goetz was pretty much making wrestling a bit zany. It was a million miles a second, and this is a year with Stone Cold out for the majority of it.
Yes, he was.
That's the crazy. Your top stars away, so the company's like, okay, we've got Rock, we've got Taker, we've got Triple H,
Angle.
But now we're bringing up these new guys: Jericho, Benoit, Angle.
Yeah.
So
the other thing is what people talk about, the downturn of 2001 when people stopped watching after WrestleMania X7. But you did have like a really big rise of Jericho and Benoit. Because The Rock had gone to Hollywood, Austin was now a heel. So all of a sudden they had to create these new stars very quickly, and they did so by pushing Benoit and Jericho to the moon. And they had that awesome tag match against the two-man power trip. Great stuff.
So I've just got it up to refresh my memory of the actual matches, most of which I don't remember, to be honest. But there's enough corkers on here where I'm just. Yeah. So, SummerSlam 2000.
What a show that was.
Is my all-time favourite pay-per-view. I'm not saying that's the best, because, I've probably watched several Ring of Honor pay-per-views this year alone. Wrestle Kingdom 11 in January. The frickin' Dominion show was pretty spot on too. So, and that's just like the last 7 months, right? So, wrestling-wise, there's a lot better out there. However, in terms of favourite, like just the stuff you treasure from your youth, It's SummerSlam 2000. Before I get into the matches of why it's so good, hey, do you want to hear a sob story?
I would love to hear a sob story.
So, I am... How old would I have been? I would have been 12, maybe 13 in the year 2000, and it's Christmas time. I believe the PlayStation 2 had just come out.
Think so.
Somewhere around then.
Dreamcast was out.
Maybe it was a bit later. However, so I didn't get the chance to watch most pay-per-views, right? Maybe I'll catch a bit of it here. I only watched SmackDown on Sky One. That was the only way.
On a Sunday morning.
On a Saturday morning.
Oh, Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, and they had enough recaps of Raw, so I knew what was going on. And I was obsessed with the still images of SummerSlam that they do in the recap. They never showed any video. Although that annoys me when they do it now.
Yeah.
And they have commentary as well. They don't just talk over it. Right? They use the commentary from the night. Anyway,
it's almost like one of our videos.
And I saved up all of my pocket money, and I was doing a paper round at the time as well. Doing quite a lot of paper rounds around my village. So I had enough money to contribute to Father Christmas, Santa Claus for American viewers. So I could not just get a PlayStation 2, but I could also get 6 DVDs from Silvervision.
Whoa!
Who are that's like $19.99 a pop. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we're talking, what's that? 120? No, 6. Yeah, 120 quid.
Yeah, man.
And the PlayStation 2, which was like 250, way above what my parents, Father Christmas, would usually spend on Christmas presents for a child like myself. So I thought, I'm going to contribute towards it, and I can get all this stuff, and I can open it, and it'll be wicked. And I think the pay-per-views were WrestleMania 2000 with the four-way.
Not a great show.
But I didn't know that at the time.
I know.
And I just knew the ones that WWE told me to like. I had the Invasion had happened, so it was 2001. It was the Christmas of 2001. SummerSlam 2000, King of the Ring 2001.
That's a great show.
Yeah,
that's
with
with
the
Kurt
Angle
Angle Shane match. Yeah,
and 2 others that are escaping me right now. They were probably like
a Survivor Series. Yeah, Royal Rumble.
And
Royal Rumble 2001. Damn, that's a good show.
Exactly. So I had those. Get those at Christmas. So excited. SummerSlam was because I love Shane McMahon. I love Kurt Angle. That 3-way. In the main event, it was The Rock, Triple H, Kurt Angle, culmination of the Stephanie McMahon love triangle angle that was unfortunately dropped because of Triple H freaking out about that whole thing going on.
That does lead to one of my favourite backstage stories ever, though. So Triple H, for those of you who don't know, Triple H kind of put the ixnay on his feud with Kurt Angle and Stephanie McMahon because he didn't think that it was believable that Stephanie could fancy Kurt. And he also... there's something like, and no one would believe he could beat me up and like beat me to win her. And then Gerald Briscoe went mental and had a massive go at him because Kurt Angle's a legitimate wrestler.
Yeah.
And yes, he could beat you up, and he could easily beat you up.
Yeah, gold medal winning Olympic broken frickin' neck.
I just don't think that he could beat me. I don't think Stephanie would really go for him.
Said it quite a few times. Anyway, so that's the first show I watch. I love it because it's got the TLC.
So did you get it for Christmas?
I got all these things. I got all of those things for Christmas.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, but I could only really watch in my hectic Christmas day, which involves pub visits and other family and whatnot. I only got a chance to watch SummerSlam 2000. Maybe not all of it, but you've got the culmination of Jerry Lawler versus Taz.
That's the start of that. That was the start of their feud.
I thought it was the payoff.
Was that the one where Raven runs in? I thought it was the next pay-per-view where Raven debuts.
Okay. Well, anyway,
but it was the start. It was the best match they had.
I was super into it because I thought Taz is so despicable. Even though he's got this wicked entrance music, he smashed that. Maybe not at that point, but he smashed the sweet jar over JR's
It was when
head.
JR was in the car and he smashed the window. Because then at the start of the match, this is so funny. JR sitting there at commentary like, I don't like this Taz. I think he's a thug. And Taz comes out with the glasses on. And with a cowboy hat and a blind cane, just going, I'm blind! I can't see where I'm going! Like proper comedy. And he walks up to the announcer desk, literally like tapping the I'm going blind, Gio! I'm blind! So funny.
The opening match was Right to Censor versus Too Cool and Rikishi.
Man, did I like Too Cool when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I thought they were...
The Worm. I
Yeah.
could never do The Worm. But I followed that very avidly on Heat, which was one of the only WWE shows we got on free television.
I could talk for hours about Right to Censor.
Yeah.
Loved that gimmick.
Steve Blackman versus Shane McMahon, where Shane McMahon did his first Titantron spot.
He did,
climbing
yeah.
up the side of it and doing an elbow.
No, it's when Blackman...
so that's the Big Show one.
Yeah.
It was
Blackman hit him with a cane and he did that. And like, that's a scary fall to watch as well because he's not looking. Like, at least with the elbow drop, he drops down and he's going... Blackman literally hits him, I think it's with a kendo stick, and Shane just lets go and just falls backwards. So many ways that could have gone wrong.
And just like... The time stood still. I'd never seen anything like this.
He does float.
So I hadn't seen Mick Foley off the cell. Because what I saw on telly was frozen images of that. I'd never seen it. Oh, man. That was something. And like after that, I was obsessed with Shane McMahon because he was like us. Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
And what I love about this as well, because this has got a great story to it, because this going in, it was just the two of them saying like, my submission's better, so the Walls of Jericho's better than the crossface, and he's like, no, the crossface is better than Walls of Jericho's. They have this 2 out of 3 falls match. Both of them get their falls with their submissions. And then Benoit wins by rolling him up and grabbing the ropes. And like, oh, you cheap bastard. Like, you're meant to be there like, I'm the best damn technical wrestler in the WWE. And you cheat to win. Oh, it was such a great ending.
And so, like, they had the ladder match somewhere before then. I can't remember if the ladder match came later.
Ladder match came later,
but they just had a cracking feud over that summer.
One of the best feuds of that time.
And I never forget, I was in tears laughing as a kid on Saturday morning watching Chris Jericho saying, I'll beat Chris Benoit on a boat. I'll beat Chris Benoit on a goat. And he photoshopped Benoit's face onto these things.
Yep.
When that's done now, I'm like, this is bull crap. But back then, I loved it.
Yeah.
And then the first...
I could beat Benoit as a blushing bride.
I can beat Benoit.
I can't remember the
I think Blushing Bride came second.
I was trying to say, I can't remember what the lead-in line was.
Then the first ever TLC match, Edge and Christian, Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys. I just never seen anything like that.
Tables and ladders and chairs. Oh my.
That blew my mind.
Oh man, it's so good.
Then I can't really remember the Cat defeating Terry.
In the Stink Face match.
Ah, yeah.
It's over very, very quickly. But like, it's
3 minutes 4, it says here on Wikipedia.
Terrifyingly, the Cat versus Terry was like one of the longest running feuds in the Attitude Era. They just seemed to just always be feuding with each other. The Cat was Jerry Lawler's wife. I think they might have been married by this point. They were certainly dating.
And then, of course, the main event was Rock, Triple H, and Kurt Angle with just a fantastic Stephanie McMahon love triangle. So here comes the sub story. So I watched that.
Okay.
I watched that. I love it. And then the next day we go to my grandparents, who live about an hour and a half drive away. We spend 2 days with them, like we did every Christmas. And we came back and we had been burgled.
Oh, no.
2 days after Christmas. The 4 months I spent saving up for the PlayStation and the WWE, and the DVDs were taken. And all the DVDs, jewelry, TVs, we just wiped out. And but I loved SummerSlam so much, I took it to my grandparents. To show my granddad what because I didn't understand that people weren't as into stuff as I was. So I'd be like, this is what I got. Can we play? They didn't have a DVD player. So I was like, and I just, I'd read the back and,
just look at the match
for
listing
a bit. And I remember the front cover perfectly. And it came back. And so that was the only DVD I had for a while. We got the PlayStation back on insurance like a month later. First thing I did was watch SummerSlam 2000 again. We never got the DVDs back though. But that was... So that's my...
Oh mate, that's a beautiful story.
Burgled at Christmas. Man.
Oh man, what a dick move!
No, I know.
I hate people sometimes. Don't commit crimes, people. It's a really dick thing to do.
So hopefully you those are good enough questions. It's a bit sad though that our favourite pay-per-views, the ones we would watch, were 17 years ago. That's a long freaking time.
It is a long time, but it's a nostalgia thing, I suppose,
Yeah.
as well, because like those games make me think of No Mercy and like
Same era, yeah.
yes, it's that same era, and like perhaps we can do some sort of announcement here on this show for the people who've made it this far in, and I'd imagine those people who are this far in are probably Patreon backers. We are going to be doing some Patreon exclusive content for you $5 backers. We're going to be doing a poll every month with pay-per-views. And you are going to vote on those, and we are going to review one of those in detail. So not like just a 5-minute chat then. We're going to review it match by match, talk about it. I'm going to pull some quotes from old observers. We're going to talk about like the thoughts and things of that at the time. So you're going to get 4 options. I haven't actually gone through this with you yet.
No. But we are going to do it. We don't know when yet.
No,
it's definitely in the works.
It is in the works. But my plan is, this is the thing I've not told you. I thought about this on the way home last night. So each month we would do one WWF pay-per-view or WWE, a WCW pay-per-view, an ECW pay-per-view, or a TNA pay-per-view.
Maybe other, because we could say like New Japan could go in there.
Yeah.
All Japan from the 90s.
Agreed.
Sick.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah. So that's kind of going to be what I'm thinking we could do. Cool. But that's going to be coming very soon.
Yeah, so maybe comment some pay-per-views you would like us to see, just to get us going, some ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we've got time for today.
I feel so bad because Karen Peterson's email. This is now like the 4th time where we've kind of like we're not putting it off. It is in our running order.
Oh no, wait, we teased NXT. The problem with NXT.
But it's not even the problem with NXT. It's the problem with the NXT portions of the NXT crowd. Apologies.
Okay, we'll have to get to that. Sorry for people who clicked that in the timestamp. That didn't happen in the end.
But it's not going to be in the timestamp now, is it?
Well, but I said it at the start of the show. The problem with NXT.
They're going to be looking for it, yeah.
Oh well. Sorry, chaps.
Sorry.
And ladies.
And ladies.
Yeah, I kind of want that to become like the new Matt Damon thing that I used to have on
Jimmy Kimmel. Was it Jimmy Kimmel? It was one of those shows.
It was
Jimmy
Kimmel,
Fallon.
because Jimmy Fallon's the other one.
I thought it might be Jimmy Fallon, you know.
I can't remember.
We're not American. We don't watch those shows.
But we'll bump Matt Damon. We'll say Matt Damon's come in at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Never turns up.
No, he's always there. It's just they never got time for him.
That's what happened.
Hilarious.
That's all we've got time for today, though, so please click the videos over Luke Stupid's reaction right now to catch up with the latest WrestleRamble or WrestleTalk news. Also, subscribe to this channel and support WrestleTalk on Patreon. This has been Luke Owen, I've been Oli Davis, and that was Rambling.